and welcome back to my channel. We're gonna check out a speed build that I did. This is a build that is kind of loosely inspired off of the house that I'm currently living in. And I thought that I would do a build based off of that layout of the house because due to some circumstances in my life, we're gonna have to be moving. And so I thought before we did that, I would do a build of my current house. Now, I will say that I try to stick to just like the layout, but the furnishing is not necessarily exact. So let's go ahead and hop over into the speed build and I'll kind of walk you through a little bit what's going on here. The layout of real houses can be really strange sometimes, and that's definitely the case with my current house. Like, it makes sense when you're here, but like trying to lay it out in The Sims was really kind of a challenge to do. And of course, with real houses and sim houses, like scaling never quite works correctly. And for some reason, when I laid out the floor plan, it created this hole in the middle. I don't know why, but it did. I fixed it though, obviously, and it's all enclosed. But so I try to model it basically after the current house. Now, my current house has a basement, and I don't put in a basement, so there's, accommodations for the fact that there are no stairs. Obviously, in a real house, there are closets. I didn't put closets in the house, so there aren't really closets in here. Windows was a challenge. I have two really large picture windows in the living room that basically you can like look straight through the house. And it was really hard finding windows that worked well with that, as well as the roof line. It's got a hipped roof on it, so finding that's not really a style of roof that I particularly like in The Sims. It can look a little weird, so getting the roof was a little bit fiddly as well. I do swap out the windows. I'm much happier with the windows that I decided to go with. They're a little bit more accurate to what the house has. It is a brick house as well, and finding the right color brick to match wasn't good. The brick on my actual house is more of a reddish brick, but I found that all of the reddish bricks in The Sims were like too orangey and weren't really suited for that. So I used a more brown brick. I was happier with how that turned out. So I did put on, like, we have a back deck, so I put that on as well. Like I said, everything is not quite to scale. It's hard sometimes to translate a real house into a Sims house, and I definitely had some problems with that. And I realized that I think I actually flipped the floor plan when I was laying it out. I know the kitchen orientation isn't correct, and that's when I figured out, hey, I think I flipped this floor plan, but I didn't want to go back and redo it. It's roughly the way that things are laid out in the house. I'm putting in the counters and stuff for the kitchen. I didn't have a budget on this. I just kind of went with whatever and wasn't caring for that a whole lot. I just kind of went with it. Didn't limit packs or anything along those lines either. I just stuck it all in there. And at first, I really am just kind of throwing in basic furniture. This is the office. So it's a 3-bedroom house with an office space as well. So you saw me sticking stuff into the office, kind of figuring out the dining area, the living room, figuring out how all of it is going to go together. In my actual house, the desk is where the couch is, and the couch is where the desk is. But it makes more sense in real life than it does in the actual build. So things are a little bit flipped around. And like I said, the floor plan seems really weird once you lay it out. It doesn't seem weird living in it, but it seems weird when you lay it out. So I'm doing the kids' bathroom right there. It's 2.5 bathrooms. It ends up being kind of sparsely furnished ultimately in the end because I'm much more of a minimalist sort of person. Like, I don't really like a lot of stuff. I don't really like a lot of clutter. And so I don't have a lot of clutter in my actual house. So things are a little sparser than what I normally would have been. Doing the master bathroom now, I really wish you could center a sink on like 2 cabinets, because a lot of times that's how like a bathroom will be, is it'll be like 2 cabinets with the sink in the center, and you can't do that in The Sims. You can kind of fudge it a little bit, but it clips and it doesn't look quite right. I tried to do that, but it didn't really work. for this. And I'm tried sort of to make the wall colors accurate. Everything is really neutral through most of the house, but then the bedrooms have some color on the walls. So I'm just kind of going with some neutral tones. We have carpet through most of the house, so I put carpeting in, but there is like a linoleum that looks like a stone tile in the kitchen. Yes, the office is green. I didn't get to decide that. It's this really awful green wallpaper. It looks much better in The Sims than it actually does in real life. Now I've got basically everything in there, and I'm just kind of like finalizing and touching up decorations. In the kitchen, I do get in the overhead counters, which don't look like the actual overhead counters. Discovered that the window is too big, so I had to swap that out. But this is kind of the general feel of the kitchen, even if it's slightly not quite the actual layout of my real kitchen. My real kitchen is really quite big, but there's a lot of just empty space, and I didn't want to include that in this build just because why would you have all of this empty space? Like I said, I don't have a lot of stuff. So it doesn't fill up a big space all that well. And like I said, I'm pretty sparsely decorated. So trying to just throw in a few little things that kind of represent what's in there. Some pictures on the wall, don't have a lot of that. I'm trying to spruce it up a little bit. There's not a painting easel in my actual office, nor is there a chessboard. But again, trying to fill up space with the layout of the actual office and making that feel kind of homey, just making it all fit and kind of seem like my actual house. So we have this entryway here, which is a little awkward in The Sims, but I wanted to keep with that same feel with the entryway. So I'm just putting like a few little things on the wall to kind of make the wall not be quite so bare and empty. As I said, for a lot of the space in the living room and the bedrooms, I just threw in like filler furniture that I could go back and like put in stuff that I actually wanted. I was just trying to get a feel for the layout. So I am doing that now, is just changing out those things and deciding, what sort of desk do I want? What chair do I want to put in? And making slight adjustments to colors and what kind of represents my actual furniture, but not exactly represents my actual furniture. And you'll see I change around some swatches, and I change out the couch to get something that's a little bit more reflective of like what my actual couch looks like, even though nothing really looks like my actual couch. I don't really have plants in my house because I kill them. That's the nice thing about The Sims is you can't kill houseplants. I kill houseplants. I can't keep them alive. It doesn't matter what I do. I think I'm watering them appropriately, but they still die. Or I think I've got them in the right sunlight, and they still die. So I don't have this many plants in my actual house. There's quite a few less than that. I do have some pictures on the wall though. So now I'm going into my son's room. He is a big Star Wars fan, so I put in some various Star Wars things, some school books and that sort of stuff as he's doing online learning. And he is also completely obsessed with owls, so I'll stick an owl in here as well. I'm trying to find like anything owl, but they didn't really have a whole lot. So I put that decal on the wall just to put something on the walls. It kind of looks like an owl, but not really. And I just had a hard time kind of figuring out what I wanted to put in his space. One of the bathrooms, and just reorganizing things a little bit, giving it a little bit of a better shower than the cheap one, and just seeing what I can do to dress up that space a little bit. This is then into my daughter's room, and she does have like this rug on her floor, and she really likes to read, so I put a lot of just like book type clutter in her room. She's got a lot of clutter in her room. I did not make this room adequately reflect what her actual room looks like. And I put up those little fairy lights because that's kind of fitting with her personality as well. And then moving on to my bedroom, I actually knit in real life, so I use some of the nifty knitting stuff to reflect that. This room actually is, I think, bigger than my real room. Oh yeah, there I go back and I add the owl that my son is obsessed with. So this room is actually quite a bit bigger than my actual room. So there's a little bit more space, empty space in this build than in my actual house. And I don't really have much on my walls. Yeah, definitely don't have plants because they die. But I'm trying to make this be a little bit more decorative. than how my actual bedroom is. And then just adding some touches to fill in the space of the master bathroom. Yeah, I'm not sure like what else to really say about this build other than, I'm just trying to make it as adequately reflect my actual house as possible, as much as you can in The Sims. I will say curtains were awful to come up with. The curtains in The Sims kind of stink. Like I really had a hard time finding like curtains that I liked or that like weren't huge or like funky colors. I just really struggled with that. So I ended up using like these just pull down shades in a lot of places because I just had a hard time finding good things to put on, for the windows. It didn't go very well. And I am landscaping a little bit not using debug this time, actual landscaping. And this is pretty close to kind of how the front of the house looks like with the landscaping. My actual house has a garage, which I don't put in here because garages in The Sims are pretty much pointless. And put in a few maple trees because I do have quite a few maple trees around the house as well, and I wanted that to reflect this. The build part is actually done, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the game. This is the actual house, and I tried to take screenshots to show you the rooms, but it wasn't really working all that well. So I thought we would just go ahead and like go in, and I would give you a quick little tour here of the actual house. So like I said, here's the entryway. If we go through here, this is the office here. I'm just going to give you like an aerial view, kind of like this. So this is the office space here. I do actually have a couple of bookshelves in my office. They're not quite this big, but I put both of those in there just to reflect that. I don't have a chess table, desk, don't have an easel, and my office does open up into a hallway that goes into the kitchen, but I took out the hallway because it wasn't that big. So then here's the kitchen, and there's a bathroom, like a half bath off of the kitchen. And I have a dishwasher. I didn't put in a dishwasher. The dining space, the living room area, which again isn't super decorated because my house just isn't. I looked into putting a rug down, but I don't have rugs, so I didn't want to include that because it wasn't accurate. One of the bathrooms here, my son's room. When I went to place this lot after I had saved it, quite a few of the things like deleted, so I had to put things back and I couldn't remember what I put there. So a few of these things are a little bit different than what you saw in the speed build. I'm not sure what exactly happened. And then this is, like I said, this is my daughter's room here with, books, and I put some candles on there. Here is the master bedroom which would be my room. I did add some yarn balls into this little basket to kind of added a different touch to the basket. The basket needed something in there. And then master bathroom. And then this is the back of the house with the deck off of the back. This is roughly the layout of my current house, but my current house is actually like a mirror and flipped. I hope you enjoyed this speed build. I thought that I might include speed builds a little bit more often on my channel because I feel like it's definitely helping my building skills, and I'm kind of having fun doing it. So as long as I'm having fun doing it, I might as well keep at it. So I want to thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I will talk to you again soon.